Hello, I'm very sick, my friends. Not just because I have persistent fantasies about things I want to do to Red Monkey to torture and punish him, but I've had a flu that is really, really nasty. Who knows whether something's COVID or not, but this one's lasted about 2 weeks. I had temperatures so high at one point I was going to bed with a jacket and a jumper on, and temperature was up and down, coughing was pretty bad. What do we do if we think we've got a cough? We eat a lot of garlic, and I had a good few cloves of raw garlic and it kept it off my chest. And there's somebody else in my family who did have the cold, hit their chest a lot more. Somebody else in the family who was bedridden for a couple of days, again makes me think perhaps it's something to do with COVID. Who knows? There's people out there who think COVID has never existed, people who think it's very common. I'm somewhere in between. I think there's some nasty viruses out there, whatever you want to call them, and you get them sometimes. How did I get so sick? There was a nasty accident in the family. Somebody had an accident, had to go to hospital, spend 12 hours in A&E, and you can't spend 12 hours in A&E often in a British hospital without becoming pretty sick with something, or at least if you do, you're very lucky. Got to be careful because there are so many little statements I made in videos, just throwaway statements that seem completely trivial and humorous, such as when I said the government's going to ban crossbows soon, which I haven't done, and I'd still like to be wrong. And people respond with anger to them. You'll find one thing about me is I don't make generalizations and I don't proclaim things very often unless I'm absolutely certain. I will proclaim that that in Taekwondo you kick a lot more than you do in boxing, where you usually won't kick at all. Unless I'm very sure about something, I don't make proclamations. I usually approximate and allude to things. Not that it matters much, but even saying that, it's got to the point that I worry about saying that you're not likely to spend a lot of time in a British hospital without becoming sick. And somebody will say, this isn't true. I know somebody in 1977 who was in the hospital for 2 weeks and he didn't have a sniffle. My life has changed drastically, and from the 2nd of January until the 18th, I didn't do a single bit of exercise. Then I only fit in 17 minutes warming up session, bit of interval training, and then a couple of rounds at the bag. I'm just 12 minutes into session today on the 20th. And I hope tomorrow I'm going to get out there and get back to using weights. And as I always do, I'll have a whole body session with it depends on what I'm doing. If I push to do 35 with just the bar, then I often won't do much more. So I might just do 20 with a bar and then go up to about 50% of maximum and do 10, something like that. I was supposed to have a deload after my New Year's Eve PR attempt and some PRs a little while before then. I wasn't supposed to have a 2.5 week deload. Still, nothing's aching. I have a lot of pain in my elbows, which I think is from overextending sometimes when punching. You can train a lot at punching, and you can train a lot lifting weights, and you can train a lot, pull-ups seem to cause a problem as well. You can train a lot in all those things, but when you do all of them, and you're getting on in age a little bit, you're asking a lot from your body. So I will take advantage of the fact that everything's stopped hurting at the moment. And I'm also going to change a little bit. I should be talking about this in the main video. Doesn't really matter. I really just want to make a video to say that I'm taking a break. I have taken a break. I hope to get back to it now. Somebody's still very ill and takes a lot of attention. There's much to be happy about. People who have the kind of accident they had sometimes don't recover at all, and they sometimes need really invasive surgery. And the older you get, the more difficult it is for your body to endure really invasive surgery. They aren't going to need surgery, but they need a lot of assistance, not for 24 hours a day, but over a 24-hour period. So sleep's become a thing of the past for me. I have lost 8 pounds in 2 weeks. And there's always people who say, well, that sounds good to me. I'd like to lose 8 pounds in 2 weeks too. But I've decided that's it. I've got to put a stop to it. And I'm starting that today. I've had protein drinks every day. If not for that, I'd have lost a bit more weight. And now I've got a nice beef casserole on the way, and for someone like me, if I want to bulk a bit but not have a dirty bulk with Chinese food and junk food, then beef casserole and mashed potatoes, that's a pretty good way to do it for me. So I'll do a couple of rounds outside and I'll have the first large meal that I've had for a couple of weeks, see if I can get a couple of pounds up on the scale. When I say I've lost 8 pounds, doesn't mean that that's entirely fat or muscle mass, because I weigh myself. I'm on the side of things where I want to see myself gaining weight, so I weigh myself after dinner before having a bath or shower. So a couple of pounds of that might be from lack of food, some of it lack of hydration. I've definitely lost 4 or 5 pounds. Don't seem very different in size. I'll find out about strength tomorrow. I was definitely stiff for a little while. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's much difference there. It's hard to tell. But I've definitely lost the weight somewhere. I was tremendously tired. The cold was horrible, but the cold is just about gone now. And I have done well with a warming up and interval session. Just the interval session that I made a video about here, where you're really running on the spot and punching. Because you're punching while running on the spot, should be obvious, but you have to keep your core quite stable. And then just a few other things in between. And it's very useful to have an option like that when you have to exercise in an emergency. And I would have thought that I don't know when the microphone battery ran out. Could have been quite a while ago. I'll just finish off quickly. I was rambling. I was just getting used to talking in front of a camera again, and I like to do it. That's why I want to tell people that there'll be more videos. Please, if you do enjoy my videos at all, do continue to subscribe, because there'll be more coming. And let's just see if I can get outside before it's pitch black, just to remind Red Monkey, who has been languishing alone, tied to the punch bag ever since I used him as a target for a military sword. And let's see if I can briefly introduce him to my new Warhammer from Windlass, which I'm sure he would like to encounter. Remember, he's a nasty little gaudy simian and he deserves everything he gets. Thanks for watching, although there wasn't much to watch this time, only reassurance that there's more coming. And see you next time. Cheers.